Bright and early here on Thursday here on the National Soccer Network, live from Shelby Township just outside of the Motor City as well as Grand Rapids, Michigan. My name is Nate Wangler. That's Ryan Glinsky. 2:48 here on Inside the Game as we get ready to dive into everything today. Ryan, I know we got a lot to touch on this show. Some crazy news breaking in the soccer world yesterday. Heard about Iran backing out of the World Cup. Obviously, everything that's going on with the world right now. And everything going on over there, it's not really a shock to anybody that that they would not, be involved in that. And so we'll dive into that. A lot of different Congress people not happy about the state of World Cup affairs, about building up to the World Cup and what's going on as it pertains to getting the country ready for the biggest tournament in the history of the sport and really in the world. It's the biggest tournament in the world, point blank. We're also going to talk about a little bit about the Premier League, and then we'll get into the World Baseball Classic, as well as a couple of different trades for the Lions, free agency, rather, some pickups for the team here in the offseason. So we'll also cover that as well. But normally I'm the one who bangs out our cold opens. We'll open up with just something that's on top of our mind to open up the show. Ryan actually came in prepared with a cold open today. He actually prepared a graphic for our cold open, which is not something we normally do. Normally it's cold, but here it is. If you were to watch one of these two for the remainder of your life, I'm assuming that's what we're doing here, Ryan, for the remainder of your life, or the remainder of time, if we just got to watch one of these, which one would it be? So you have option A, which is the Masters, Major League postseason, college football playoff, and Stanley Cup playoffs. B, you have NFL, March Madness, NBA, and the FIFA World Cup. Well, you couldn't have made this any more difficult than what you did.
Well, I didn't make it.
I'll leave the floor to you. Go ahead.
What's the easiest
Which one are you
situation?
taking?
It's B. NFL playoffs. I still get the Super Bowl, March Madness, the best tournament of all time. The 32 games that are played, or the 16 games played on a Thursday and a Friday. Unbelievable stuff. NBA playoffs, I mean, you could just throw that out. That doesn't really matter to me anyway. Doesn't matter. And then the FIFA World Cup comes every 4 years. And I'll tell you why I don't like A. Masters is the most overrated tournament of all time. I'm not 70 years old. Postseason, my team chokes all the time in Game 5 of the ALDSs, and the pitchers just quit. College football playoff, I think it's a drawn-out process at this point. I just think it's too long. Like, I love college football, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's too long. It's a month long. It's just stupid now. And it's going to be even more stupid in the next coming when they especially expand this whole thing. And then Stanley Cup playoffs, I heard it's great. Red Wings are never in it. They always choke before they even get to the playoffs, so I don't really watch it. But, yeah, no, B is the easiest answer. There's really no debate at all.
I mean, let's think about my teams here for a second. I realize, I would say B is the stronger option, too. A lot of times I don't care about the NFL playoffs, right, because my team is going to find a way to either A, choke it away, or B, not even get there. I get it's football, but sometimes the NFL playoffs, if I don't have a vested interest in one of the two sides, if I miss a game, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm not losing sleep over it, honestly. I guess I just never really been all that bought into the NFL playoffs. Now, some of the storylines have been great throughout the course of my life, obviously, so, you're going to watch for that, but, like, I think, like, this year is a good example of, like, I didn't really care. Matter of fact, I think I was more interested in all the other shit going on
about football
around the Super Bowl than it was about the actual game, because I just didn't care about the two sides. It didn't really inspire me at all. March Madness would be a tough one to give up. Obviously, Michigan is well in line to make a run this year. NBA playoffs, again, another one of those. I mean, the Pistons haven't, I liked watching Bron and Steph, but we don't really have, like, a rivalry at the top like that anymore. I mean, yeah, we got good teams, but I think the NBA is more deep now than what it maybe used to be. It used to be Cavs Warriors, and that was the coolest thing to watch every year because we knew it was going to happen. So I could give or take that one. World Cup would be tough.
It was only good for one series, if we're being completely honest. It was only good for one. Maybe
Well,
two.
the build up to the other one was fine, but then it was a sweep, and then LeBron left Cleveland. So
It was a sweep and a
but,
gentleman's sweep,
you know,
and there was only 2 good
yeah,
series. I wouldn't say
yeah,
the Warriors
exactly.
Cavs were so sweep. And we had J.R.
But
Smith in there.
I agree with you. I don't think the Masters is just because I don't get into golf that much. I think for people who are into golf, it is a lot because it's the
Yeah, I'm not
it's
70
the
years
Super Bowl
old.
of
I'm not
golf.
sitting there on a Sunday
I mean the people who
watching.
win it aren't 70. I know a lot of people that aren't 70 that are into it. I know that golf's obviously
Yeah, they're
not up
crazy.
there on the rankings, but
Wouldn't be friends
golf
with
is
them.
boring on the TV. I'll give you that. The postseason, I don't know, man. Cubs, Tigers, postseason baseball is the best. College football playoffs. I don't know. If Michigan made a run to another national championship in football, I don't know, man. You're telling me I can't watch? Like that would be heartbreaking. Like I feel like that Rose Bowl against Bama.
We can't do the team comparison for all this stuff because like
I don't know,
one side could be the whole team.
I don't know.
Look at the tournaments for what it is. The college football playoff, if Michigan's in it, I'm all over it. But at the same time, it's a stupid concept now. The tournament, the whole playoff is a month long, more than a month long. It's stupid now. If it was just a 4-team playoff, which we still have blowouts in it, but it was over in 2 weeks. We knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
And if we want to do teams, the only reason
I'd probably go with B. But but these are serious questions though. I mean, if we're doing A and B, I got to think about teams that could make a run, and now I'm not allowed to watch that.
Nate, it's teams. Who cares at this point?
Teams are in the
turnover for what the tournament for what it is. NFL playoffs way better than anything. March Madness, the greatest thing there is. The NBA playoffs, I've never had again, that could just be thrown. That doesn't even. You could throw that out of the mix. I could care less for that. But the FIFA World Cup, my team's been trashed every single time, and I still watch every single game. It is the FIFA World Cup has created the greatest sporting event that I will ever watch in the history as a neutral. It has created the greatest sporting event ever.
It seems completely hypocritical for me to sit here and not include the World Cup and not choose B and not want to see that one. But no, I'm just those are very real considerations. So it's like, you choose one. You choose one for the rest of your life. I can no longer watch the Masters, Major League postseason. Does that mean I get to watch the regular season then?
I guess it's just the playoffs. So you could watch everything leading up to. You could watch everything in the regular season. Now, Nate, what if we put in? What if What if we put minor league baseball playoffs in B? Are we?
Ooh, I don't really care about the playoffs in minor league baseball. I just like going. But like
to see the Whitecaps this year, you went to the playoffs and the championship. You wouldn't be able to go.
That's true.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't know how that all works.
All right. Sorry. No, I can't actually go to the championship, guys. I need to watch the NBA playoffs later this year, and I made a choice, and so now I can't go. Sorry. So I'll you guys best of luck on your trip.
Sorry, Schrock. I missed your comments. He says the Masters or golf in general is that thing you watch and clear your head and unwind. It's nice. B though, because you got 2 big tournaments that anything can happen in March Madness and the World Cup. This guy knows ball. I might not understand his SpongeBob references, but I do like this one. I do like these comments.
You do make a good point, Schrocky. Yeah, you do make a good point. I think it's a little weird coming from you though, Mr. Baseball Guy. I know you like watching the postseason, and I know that Courtney likes watching the postseason. And if the Cubs were in that thing, your ass would be in front of the TV. Also, she kills for Notre Dame football too. So I don't know. It's just not an easy choice. Oh, diehards. They're
diehard ND fans.
Diehard. Well, Schrock's not. Schrock is a
good.
Texas fan. Which, that
makes no sense.
Fan for whatever reason. No, I know. Born in northern Indiana, big old Texas fan.
Hey, Schrock, when you come into the show every single time, can you do "We're back" or "I'm back"? Can you do that when you come into the show?
We should get him on. I know he's been dropping in live comments all over the place. So, Schrocky, yeah, that's the next move, my man. You got to get in on the show. You got to move in and get in with us. We'd love to bring you on. But let's move into our soccer conversation here on Inside the Game. Yeah, A or B. That's tough. I mean, probably B, but there's a few options that could go either way. But let's talk a little bit about what happened with Iran yesterday. Ryan, I know you made a video on that. I was actually in the middle of doing something. I saw that pop up on my phone, and then immediately afterwards, as is customary with some of this breaking news, I got a text from you. We were chatting about that, but Iran sports minister confirmed the national team will not participate in the 2026 FIFA World Cup, citing security concerns and hostile relations following U.S. and Israel actions. The decision follows the reported death of Iran's supreme leader in the ongoing conflict happening overseas. Obviously, we know that there's a war going on, so I mean we can't really ignore the elephant in the room. There's a lot to digest here, and the one thing that we like to stick away from on this show is politics, and so that will continue today because I really have no interest in diving into the political matters of either side. You can form your own opinion. You have your sources out there. That's fine. This is the right choice for Iran to not be involved in this. I think it is legit to be concerned about security concerns. The only thing that's weird to me is when I look at the situation, it's like when you see two people fighting, generally speaking, the people that piss me off the most is they're like, well, what's the context? What led to it? It doesn't really matter what led to it, to be completely honest with you, because both of them are engaging in the act. So both of them deserve to be punished accordingly, right? Like we can't just like pick sides and be like, oh, hey, you are this and you are that. I'm not going to sit here and stand up for Iran because obviously, there's legitimate concerns when it comes to this. Also, I want it to be perfectly known that the reason why we love the World Cup and we love the sport is because regardless of what political relations are, like the sport is the sport. Sports is our ability to step away from all that. This is why I hate this current political climate where all the politics bleeds over into sports, because this is literally where people go to get away from all that. Like, it is a pitch. It is the 90 minutes plus some time if you need it. And it's two teams. That's all it is. Okay. But in terms of concerns for safety, I can absolutely see that. But what's weird to me, and going back to this whole analogy about two people fighting, you don't just punish one of them. Like Israel is still competing for a chance to be in the World Cup. They're still in the playoff. They still have a handful of games coming up in order to get in. I don't know. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to do it. I'm not diving into that, but it is impossible to look at this story and not at least think about it, because you blow up an entire city block to get one person. I don't know, Ryan, what's your biggest takeaway from this? Because I think it's, I don't know. I don't know. I think we're picking and choosing a little bit here, but I completely see why they wouldn't want to be a part of it. I think you're on mute, brother. You're muted.
I needed water, so I muted myself while I drank my water. No, my biggest takeaway is Schrock said he'll take some PTO time and hop on the show. So that's my biggest
nice.
Takeaway. No, my biggest takeaway is just the players. The players won't get to play. They this is something that they have worked hard, for the last 4 years. They didn't get out of the group. Shout out Christian Pulisic's growing area for eliminating them. But like
the nut goal.
Yeah, the nut goal. That's the thing that upsets me the most is the players. And I don't know if based on what I've read, it doesn't feel like the Federation or Iran, whatever who's in charge at this point. I don't know what's going on over there.
Right.
I don't think they went up to the team and asked if they would want to play. I think honestly to withdraw again. I've never seen this happen before, so I don't really know what's going on or who replaces them or what team. I don't know how that all is going to work. But I'll say is it feels bad for the players because they've worked hard for 4 years. They didn't get out of the group in 2022 thanks to Christian Pulisic, and then they don't get to play. They didn't have a say. It feels like they didn't have a say. Again, maybe there is conversations and it wasn't reported in the articles that I read, but it just feels like they didn't have a say, and that's the most upsetting thing. And they didn't have control over this at all. They didn't control anything that their supreme leader. Again, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the
Yeah.
guy's name, but the Iran leader, for what he did in the
Yeah.
past, or what he did now, or what he did upset. I don't know anything, or they didn't have any say in the relationships with Israel, which still makes no sense because Israel's playing in the World Baseball Classic. I digress. And then or anything with Trump,
Yeah.
that's like they had no say in any of this. Like they didn't choose to have issues with Israel. They didn't choose to have issues with the United States. They just lived in a country and
just
played
play.
ball. That was it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the most upsetting thing, and obviously it was kind of writing on the wall when everything first started. It was kind of expected of like, okay, they're gonna be out of the World Cup eventually. Like it's just a matter of time. And then another thing that I had to take away is we're gonna have another worst team in the World Cup because. Look at this World Cup is oversaturated. There's too many teams, and some of these teams don't
Yeah.
even belong. Like Tim Howard mentioned, he's like, I'm not gonna watch Curacao versus Germany. Germany's gonna win 10-0. There's no point in watching it. So now we're gonna add a team that didn't even make it through qualifying is now gonna be in the World Cup. Maybe they just take another playoff team. I guess I don't know how it's all gonna work, but then you're gonna have to take them from the same region as Iran. So that makes no sense. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen here. Maybe Israel just takes a spot. I don't know. That would suck. That would really be another just a little kick to the what for Iran in terms of everything. That's just the only that's the only thing is people in power have basically kind of ruined the whole situation for this whole team. And you said it yourself. Like the sports are a gate. Why do people like movies and sports all the time and binging shows? Because it's a gateway from reality for a couple hours or hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe a half hour, depending on what show you're watching. It's just a gateway from it. It helps you escape reality for a little bit. You get to go in your own world and see what this own world you're watching on TV. Like when you're watching a sporting event, especially a big sporting event, do you care about what the political scene is at that current moment in time? No, you forget about it, and if it's a big win, you forget about it for probably a day because you're so happy. Like when Michigan beats Ohio State, I don't know what's going on in the world for like the whole rest of the weekend. Like I could care less about what happens on NFL Sunday. I could care less about even Monday because I'm still watching. Then everyone kind of gets out back in the podcast realm, and we're seeing clips of stuff. So like for a whole week, I could care less what's going on in the world. I just want to see Michigan and Jim Harbaugh and J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum. Shout out Sharon Moore for not even throwing the forward pass and still being the natty champ. So like that's what it is. And I just feel bad for the people that, had no say in this at all and didn't even didn't choose to have an altercation with the United States or Israel, Iran, whatever. But it was kind of expected. So it just sucks for the players, is what I would say.
What's amazing to me? There's a lot more people in the middle ground than I think what we're willing to give credit, simply because we exist in a world where obviously the extremes get the most airtime, whether that be on social media, the news, and that is the saddest part, is that they just don't get that opportunity to compete because it's always the poor that end up paying the price for what the elites decide, whether that be in politics, whether that be anywhere else. And so not calling these guys poor, I mean, relative to, sure, the rest of the world. They're
soccer players, they ain't poor.
You're playing in Iran, I mean, but the truth is that, they worked their whole life for an opportunity to do this. It would be no different than a country pulling out of the Olympics or pulling out of, any other world. I feel the same exact thing about Russian athletes, which is you just feel for the players because they didn't make those choices, especially even think about
the
the
Russians
guys in
can
the
still
NHL
compete if it's individual. They just can't have teams. You can still you can still have like individual skaters or swimmers. You just can't have teams.
Right, exactly. But I'm sure it would feel a lot different to actually represent your country as opposed to,
what were they called in the Olympics? Like Republic of Russia or something? It was weird. Like Republic Athletes of...
What was wasn't it like I remember for one of the Olympics, it was like the individual or like independent athletes.
I don't know, something like
or something else. I forget what but they didn't call them. They didn't call them Russia. I do remember that. But
that
is the part that is the part that sucks the most.
Look at baseball during the Great Depression. It's where the escape mentality with sports began. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And now the people of Iran, who I don't even know what's left of the country at this point, we just seem to be doing stuff all the time, eliminating all their military and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those people probably have nothing at the moment, and they can't even watch 3 games. I mean, I think they had Egypt, New Zealand, and Belgium in their group. I mean, that's a favorable group to get out of if you're Iran, because I mean, Belgium will probably win the group, but Egypt, I mean, Mo Salah, he's great as it is, but I mean, they're not like some insane. They're not some like giant. And New Zealand, again, this is another thing why I'm pissed off about this World Cup. New Zealand shouldn't be in the World Cup, man. New Zealand, Curacao, all these random countries that would not have made it in the normal last one. This is why expansion's stupid. Like, we expand playoffs to expect to have better games. We just end up having worse games because we have weaker teams that shouldn't have even been in it to begin with playing against the best teams. So this is just stupid. But no, like, think about it, Nate. Iran probably would have gotten out of the group, or at least at a minimum been in a third place spot. And to get out. Like, there's no way. Like, that's 4 games where these people could escape reality. 4 games for 90 minutes or so. Because we add on like 10 minutes of added time, which no one knows when that actually ends or how that works, but no one knows.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We come back here on Inside the Game. Let's talk a little bit. I mean, we're already on the World Cup conversation. I do, by the way, think expanding the field waters things down. I just think this is really going to be a kind of an experiment for FIFA in a ways, because if it goes the way they want it to.
Tigers got in because of the expanded playoffs.
That's true. Hey, yeah, that's fair. I mean, as long as you're in, you're in. But if we start seeing 10-0 finishes, it's people are gonna start to wonder why we did this. And of course, the organization of all of it has not been seamless. So we're gonna talk about that on the other side of the break. A lot of people in Congress not happy with FIFA at the moment. But first, let's tell you about FC Bayern summer soccer camps. They are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. Again, that's BayernNSN30. Scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
America's oldest soccer tournament, the most fabled Giant Killers, for the first time ever in Genesee County. Your Flint City Bucks host Wisconsin professional club Forward Madison FC in the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Kickoff is 6:30 p.m. Thursday, March 19th at Don Batchelor Stadium in downtown Grand Blanc. Be part of history as the winner moves one step closer to a Major League Soccer matchup. Tickets are on sale now at FlintCityBucks.com. Flint City Bucks, the future of MLS.
Back in live Inside the Game, episode 248. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky. Well, we're excited for the World Cup to come up here in the United States. Our countdown continues on social media, so check that out. We're closing in on just 90 days away from the biggest tournament in the country, and what very well could be the last FIFA World Cup in this country if it doesn't go the way that we think it's going to go. And a lot of political games being played right now. We just talked about obviously Iran dipping out of the World Cup, but now we turn our eyes stateside. And just yesterday, we were talking about this a little bit, but nearly 70 U.S. Congress people sent a letter Tuesday to FIFA calling on the global soccer governing body to lower World Cup ticket prices and offer financial relief to host cities struggling with the cost of staging the tournament. Apparently, communication breakdowns have been consistent. And again, nearly 70 people sent this letter to FIFA, essentially claiming that their organization in the matter and how things are going in terms of putting all of the things in place in terms of securities and running the event smoothly have not been coming through on time. Now, early projections when it comes to the World Cup have shown that it could produce upwards of $11 billion. On the front end of that is about $4 billion worth of security costs in other means and funds in order to make sure that the event goes smoothly. So, the cooperation of FIFA leading up to the World Cup is everything. It's the most important thing when it comes to the local representatives in these cities that, again, are going to be hosting all these people that have to put this on. Now, 11 of the 16 venues are going to be in the United States. So obviously the overt majority of those venues are going to be in the U.S. But, this is something that comes after months of, number one, ticketing controversies. That was one of the things that these people mentioned in Congress, is that the prices for these tickets are absolutely ridiculous and asinine. Yeah, Tim Weah mentioned it, and Eric Winalda had a freaking aneurysm. But now the people of Congress are mentioning it. And why are they mentioning it? Well, because if you're going to project that we're going to make $11 billion, we actually have to get there first. You don't just snap your fingers and make it to $11 billion. Part of that is you have to have people that are able to buy these tickets, and at an astronomical price. And so some of the controversies around that are obviously FIFA is trying to gouge people because they're in the United States. So let's see how much we can make out of these people. But if they don't end up buying the tickets, they don't end up buying the tickets. You talked about Germany and Curacao. I mean, I know that it's probably not going to be $4 billion to go to that game, but it's still going to be expensive. As well as a lot of other cities. And we already talked about, obviously, Foxborough. It's just, again, I talked about tip
Not
of the
in
iceberg.
Boston.
One example, but their scramble for funds and cutting back on the other thing that they mentioned is cutting back on other things the city would normally do that they do every summer in order to accommodate for FIFA because those funds aren't coming through on time. And no, yeah, Foxborough is not in Boston. It's outside of Boston. However, I will say, I bet everybody's going to be staying in Boston. So I'm sure that's where the majority of the hotels and other shit are going to be. So again, it's like they're two peas in a pod, but yes, it is its own city. It's its own jurisdiction. It is not Boston, which adds to the financial strain that all of this could put on Foxborough because they're not Boston. They're their own jurisdiction. So yeah. So my takeaway from all this, Ryan, is, we're beating the drum again. We're not giving you any new information. We're telling you what it is. And it's another day, another dollar. FIFA is a corrupt organization. They're one of the more insular organizations. And the hard part about when I read into this is that they have essentially pigeonholed a lot of these host cities. What I mean by that, certain companies cannot advertise or become sponsors of the event in these cities if they're already advertisers with FIFA. Small local businesses are really getting put in a bind right now because I'm reading deeper into this, but apparently the amount that they're looking for in terms of these sponsorship deals is quite some amount. But let me see.
Well,
So somewhere between $1 and $2
million.
Let me see specifically what they said. Go ahead, I'll take your opinion on this. But I think it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, the sponsorships are going to be crazy. You get 1 billion viewers damn near every game. So yeah, of course the sponsorships are going to be bigger. It's the only issue that I have with this whole thing is just going to be the whole tickets and everything. Like if if countries like South Africa and Brazil can host this thing, there shouldn't be any doubt that the U.S. can host this thing. And there's a lot more shady stuff going on. Qatar, that's another one. There's a lot of shady stuff that went on in all of those World Cups. And now you look back at, like, if you were to, like, look at a video, there's always YouTube videos on these things. If you were to, like, 2010 South Africa stadiums now, or Brazil stadiums now, or Qatar stadiums now, they're all gone. Like, well, they're not gone.
Yeah.
They're all just, like, there, but it's all depreciated. Like, they're not used anymore. So all these countries have to build stadiums. It's a luxury to have this tournament in your own country. There's always issues with the World Cup, especially with something this size. It just comes down to the ticket prices because the security is going to be fine, I hope, at least, based on the Copa America. But I just don't think the U.S. was prepared for the Copa America, and I don't think they put in a ton of effort into really trying to protect the whole thing. Which, by the way, I think Foxborough and FIFA actually agreed on something yesterday in terms of all the money, but it was on The Athletic, and I don't pay for that stuff, so I just saw the headline that they agreed on something. So that's as far as I got on that. But no, it's just the same old stuff. I mean, yeah, I would like to see ticket prices go down, but ticket prices should go down in the country in all sports all the time. The only sporting event where you can find cheap tickets is baseball games, but that is also because there's 81 home games in a season, so you can go to many games and all that stuff. But ticket prices in this country are crazy, and it's all over the place. And I mean, I guess I should say ticket prices are a big thing all over the world, to be honest with you, because the Premier League and European soccer has got massive issues with ticket prices as well. It's just simple greedy owners and billionaire owners and millionaire owners just want more money. And I mean, they have something that a lot of people want, and I can't hate on them for trying to get the most bang out of their buck. I mean, they're running a business damn near, and you got to make money somehow. Obviously, we would like it to be for the everyday fan, but that's just not how the world works. Would I like to see tickets go down? I think the tickets are going to start going down in terms of the pricing because I don't think all these tickets and all these games are sold out yet. So I think we're eventually going to see that come time and everything. I think the ticket prices will go down. Will it go down like... Will it still be expensive to go? Yeah, it'll still be expensive to go. It's the World Cup, and in the United States, it's going to happen. But yeah, no, I just think with this whole thing, it feels like a mess. But if I'm being completely honest with you, if I'm looking back at the history of the last couple of World Cups, the World Cups that I've witnessed, our issues are about security, and there are 10 million things that we have already in place that we avoided that all these other host nations had to do because they didn't have the infrastructure. So basically, our issues are really small compared to the past World Cups. It's just ticket prices and security. A lot of other World Cups have had a lot of other issues. I don't know what you're saying. What'd you say?
Sponsorship limitations. I mean, that's the other part of the conversation that I wanted to mention. But what? Just because they did bad things in the past, we can't hold FIFA accountable?
We're talking. What do you mean sponsorships, like commercials and stuff?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, there's going to be limitations. You see how much money it is to go to a Super Bowl?
Hold on a sec. To fulfill the responsibilities and cover expenses, each city formed a host committee, right? Obviously, World Cup host committee. We talked about that in Foxborough. Committees have spent years coordinating plans for security and transportation, right? While also fundraising. So they get a certain amount of that money from the federal government, like we talked about. That was the issue with Foxborough because that money wasn't coming through quickly enough, right? So that was the problem.
But it did.
But finding sponsors, though, or host city supporters, as they're officially dubbed, has proven difficult because FIFA won't let cities sign deals with companies in industries where FIFA already has its own sponsor, right? So they're restricting them already right off the bat. If we have our own sponsor in this area, you cannot get these guys to be part of those host city supporters. You can't have that. Regional food chains, for example, are barred because they share a category with the FIFA World Cup sponsor, McDonald's, all drinks, sportswear brands, cars, airliners. More than a dozen other types of potential host city supporters are off the table. That's millions and millions and millions of dollars. The host committees are also... Hold on. Host committees are also limited in what they can offer brands in exchange for millions of dollars. FIFA monopolizes nearly all revenue streams and in and around the stadiums and on TV. Hold on. It protects the exclusivity for which its own sponsors pay. So on one hand, you're not helping cover costs number one, which is the leading problem that we're dealing with here. And yes, that is a problem. Money is a thing. And people just keep in the comment sections are like, oh, money's money. You're going to make it. Well, you need money to make it run. This is FIFA's tournament. Okay, so, and then on the other hand, you're prohibiting cities from going to businesses that would normally want to provide sponsorship because a deal that you have with another business is more important than that. And then you're going to not do anything to lower any of the costs. And so, in what? I just listed 3 different ways FIFA's kind of tying these host cities' hands behind their backs as they're trying to build up and prepare for this. No, that means something. So yeah, ticket prices are ridiculous for the individual fans, but if they can't go out and find sponsorships or they can't find someone to help alleviate that financial mess, and FIFA's just not communicating with them.
So what are these sponsorships for? Is this is simply ad revenue? Is this simply commercials? Is this what it is? Is that what is that what it is? Or is it just some billboards up and down the street leading up to the stadium? What is it?
Well, obviously they would pay for it. They would pay for the sponsorship. The companies
so, no,
would not.
You didn't answer the question. Are these sponsorships that these committees are trying to get? Is this simply for the FIFA sponsorships that they already have? Is this just commercials, ad revenue that they're putting on the billboards in the stadiums? Is that what this is?
I mean, I don't know if it's in the stadiums or how they would advertise. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways that they can go about it.
This is their tournament. This is their stuff. So they're
how
going
does that
to
help
have
the host city, Ryan? How does that help the host city?
Nate,
FIFA runs away with all this money, and they don't provide securities and money for the city who's hosting the tournament. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Their sponsors is through FIFA. They did the work to do it. It is the FIFA tournament. It is not the United States FIFA World Cup. It's not the Qatar FIFA World Cup.
They can't get the sponsor too at the same time?
You can put a sponsor in the street. But Nate, what can these host cities do with sponsors? What can they do? They can put a billboard up and down the street? What are they going to do?
Money.
You can put billboards up on the highway? I don't understand what the whole issue with this is.
How they advertise is not the problem. How they advertise is not the issue. It's the money they get from those companies being willing to advertise with the host committee. That's what it is. So they're looking to go out and fundraise to make this event go the way that it should go so that we can make all of this money. But a lot of their options to fundraise have been completely taken off the table because FIFA's like, well, if they're already with us, you can't have them. So but they're not. The city's not getting any money from FIFA with those advertisements. Those sponsorship deals are for FIFA.
Because it's FIFA's tournament.
I get it, but we're talking about the cities that are hosting the tournament, Ryan. We're not talking about FIFA. I don't give a goddamn what FIFA makes. How does that affect me? How does that affect the taxpayer? How does that affect your neighbor?
Well, it doesn't affect us at all because we don't have a tournament in Michigan. We don't have a game in Michigan.
Okay, but dude, okay, you caught me on a detail.
The sponsorships, FIFA did the work. So why don't they get the money? They did the work to get it all. These host cities, you're also going to have millions and millions of people in your town anyway. It's generating projected $11 billion. You know how many crazy people are going to be just walking up and down the streets?
Projected. That's not a guarantee.
Nate, you realize that the money of every single World Cup goes up and up and up and up. You know how many people just come to the city to just be in the city and party in the streets?
So you spend $1 billion in the hopes that you maybe make it back. Maybe.
Scared money don't make money.
There's no. Okay, that's not a good business practice, Ryan Glinsky.
But that's what it is. Nate, you
that
realize that all the sponsorships and all the ads, FIFA did. So Nate,
oh my goodness, are the host cities getting that money? Are the host cities getting that money?
Did the host cities do the work to get the sponsors?
So all of a sudden they're restricted. They can't get McDonald's. They can't get airliners. They can't get car brands.
They didn't do the work to get it. They didn't do the work to get it.
So FIFA got them 10 years ago, so now they can't get them? The World Cup wasn't here 10 years ago. So you did 10, 15 years ago. So they can't advertise with the host committee too? Why can't the company decide that? No, FIFA said
why would these companies even want to? Why would these? First off, all these brands. There's a McDonald's in Boston anyway, so there's the advertisement right there within the city. That McDonald's in Boston will make money. So here's the thing.
So how does that affect
Nate? If all of a sudden you wanted to have a tournament in New Baltimore in my backyard, in my parents' backyard, and You did all the work to get the sponsors, and you're going to put it on the billboards. Why should my house get a whole cut of the work that you did to get all the sponsors? Like, that makes zero sense.
So what if you looked at those companies and you were like, hey, I'm going to go out and get them to sponsor our host committee. And that deal will help us.
Why would you have to sponsor a host committee?
Things.
What does that do for a company?
They can't go out and get local sponsors because, dude, FIFA is making the money off of this. The problem we are talking about right now.
Oh, so you're telling me a massive
needs.
sports committee is evil and corrupt? It's like they all are.
So why is that just okay with you? Why are we okay? Oh, it is what it is. It's just business as usual.
Nate, we do realize that this whole World Cup is probably, like, if we're looking back on the previous couple of World Cups, this is probably the least problems of the last previous ones.
Okay, but there's problems. Okay, people didn't die.
There's always problems. There's problems in everyday life.
Is that the limit now? What? Okay, so now it's all right. No big deal. It just is. It is what it is. Like, there's zero critical thinking involved with that whatsoever. Like, if we're just gonna pass it off as all right, there's just problems. FIFA's not communicating. They're not providing funds. They're
no. I didn't say it like that. I said there's problems all the time. There's always going to be problems in everything in life.
It doesn't mean we can't talk about it, though. That doesn't mean it's not an issue.
Clearly they've been communicating. If Foxborough and FIFA got things figured out, clearly they got it figured out. If communication is thing, it's a $1 billion company. Do we really think? It is their tournament. It is their tournament. What is that? FIFA honestly could just rip it all up and be like, all right, fine, you guys are so many issues. We'll just go to a different country. They could do it. They could do that if they wanted to. Go to England for crying out loud. They got all the stadiums.
Yeah, sure.
So
do that, but let's see how that goes.
So
just turn around.
So hold on. So all the money that these shops and all these restaurants and all these hotels and all these all the Uber drivers and everything, all that stuff that the city is making, correct? That should that go to FIFA?
What are you talking about? What the city is making?
The sponsor. Hold on. So the sponsorship and the ads and whatever it is, that FIFA has already done the work to get sponsors for the FIFA World Cup. Not the Foxborough World Cup, not the Florida World Cup, not the LA World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. All the work that FIFA did, correct? But in these host cities where the hotels are at, the restaurants, the shops, the Ubers, all that stuff, so should all of that money then be shared with FIFA, or should the city just host it? Just keep it all?
I have no idea what you're asking me, but let me ask you something.
Nate, it's simple. This is what I'm getting at. So all the money that the cities will be making through hotels and restaurants, which, mind you, all these hotels and restaurants are going to start doing this with their prices. So we can't be super hypocritical of that because they know what they're doing. Hotels do it all the time. And in these host cities, I bet you that's what they're telling everyone. So hotel prices, they'll be spiked up. Restaurants spiking everything up. Just putting it out there. So all the money that the city will make through hotels and restaurants and shops, cars, public services, whatever, they'll keep all that money. That's not going to FIFA. Why? Because they did all the work. It is their stuff. It is all their stuff, which is the same thing as FIFA having their own sponsors in the World Cup. It's the same exact thing. Everyone keeps their stuff that they did for the work.
What do you need in order to do that? Financial guarantees.
And these cities have money. That's why they're going to these cities. See, if it went to Grand Rapids, yeah, that'd be a massive issue because you guys don't have Grand Rapids doesn't have the money. It'd be the same thing as coming to Shelby Township.
A $1 billion company, organization, whatever, you should be able to provide some sort of financial means.
They just
clearly
fixed it all.
They are not communicating well. I don't think 70 people would come together and make up a lie to say that FIFA is not coming through on their promises. The sponsorship thing is one part of the conversation, which, by the way, I don't know how many different companies I've seen promote or sponsor, Ford. Ford is on a billion things. Goodyear is on a billion things. McDonald's is on a billion things. So FIFA says, well, just because they're with us, these host cities are unable to go out and get them as a sponsor for their host committee.
What are these companies? What is the value of these companies being in the host cities? What's the value?
Stupid thing I've ever heard. There's no business sense to that. That doesn't take away from any amount of money that they're making.
People from foreign countries are coming over here. Do you think they really care about buying a Ford car?
FIFA doesn't make any less money from their sponsorship because Foxborough says, hey, we're going to get Budweiser to be a sponsor for our host committee.
What does that do?
There's no less money
What is the value for that company?
What they pay for it.
We're just going to put a billboard right before you get to the stadium?
No, they pay for it because why, Ryan? Because what's the most important thing that you want in advertising? Eyeballs. And how many eyeballs are going to be at the World Cup? So these host committees, which are hosting fan fests, which are hosting watching things, which are hosting all these things in the summer leading up to the World Cup, are going to be sponsored, or they want to be sponsored by these companies. And FIFA said, no, you can't do that. Okay, so how do you want us to make this money if we're not able to sign these lucrative ad deals to make these things go the way they want? You want a fan fest. You want these other things during the summer. You want people to get pumped up for the World Cup. But if we don't have the means to do so, then we can't do that. That's as simple as it gets. And I don't think 70 people would come together and make up a lie.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're back. We're back live.
Okay. All right.
We're back live.
Let's send it to break really quick, so maybe we can troubleshoot some of this stuff.
Hold on, before we do that. Okay, I forgot how we're gonna do this. So we're gonna have a special guest coming onto the show here, in a split second. So we'll wait for that. If he comes on, but yeah. World Cup, fun.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for the special guest, the surprise guest. All right. We'll do that. Let's take a break really quick, Ryan. Let's take a break. Let's come back. And then we'll continue our soccer conversation here in hour number one.
Nope. We're not doing that now. We're not doing it now. All right.
Is already in.
We have a special guest now on the show.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, look at that, huh? Look who's made his way back into the world, huh?
Oh, yeah. What's up, dude? Hey, nice sweatshirt, man.
Well, thank you. Hey, I've been listening to this conversation, and I got to tell you, I love the passion between the both of you on this. I think this is
not gonna lie, this is really weird. I can hear everything before it's said through my headphones.
All right, but I don't know if this point was made. These cities had to bid. Was that point made in any of this?
No, it was not made. I forgot about that.
Yeah, these cities had to bid to host these games, and so these cities, in hoping to bid, had to put together what a bid would look like. They knew the requirements from FIFA well in advance. They knew the security apparatuses that were needed. They know all of it. The problem now is that they don't like the potential outcome from what FIFA is requesting based on the new world climate that we're currently in. And I think they're all raising the red flag that maybe we shouldn't have done this. You know what I mean? But they did. They again, I think Detroit put a bid in to host. I mean, there are a lot of cities.
Keyword Stadium, hosted Messi.
And they didn't win.
Yep.
You know, and so I think it's important that when you talk about this, again, the Super Bowl, I don't think a single city in the Super Bowl gets any of the sponsorship money from the NFL. The NFL keeps all that money. The city benefits from all the people coming into the city and all the things that come as a result of them spending all that money. And so I think if we look at it like that, why are they doing that? Because they want 100,000 people to walk through their building, get the chance to see their city and in the environment, and maybe come back another time, right? That's really what you're hoping for. So I don't know. I guess my thing is, are we mad at FIFA because they're not giving money to the cities, or are we mad that the cities aren't getting maybe what they were bargained for? Or is it both?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think they're $250 million short in funding right now. I think that was the official number that the amount that was promised to these host cities to run the tournament. I think $650 million was promised. I think they're $250 million short. And a lot of what they talk about in this article didn't have to do with the tournament itself. Obviously, the ticket prices are a massive part of that, and we all agree that that's an issue. It's everything leading up to the World Cup itself. It's all the summer stuff and building the hype around the World Cup and doing all of those things. Now, I get it. I understand it. Obviously, they're not going to keep any of the revenue, the ad revenue that FIFA is collecting from the event, but sponsors for these events leading up to it. It's all designed, in my mind, in order to create some sort of financial revenue or just money coming in, consistent money coming in. And also, I mean, like, can we admit that maybe it could be disastrous with the current world climate and with the price of tickets? I mean, I know that we're like, oh, it's the World Cup, it's God's gift to sports, potentially, but that's exactly it. Potentially, it could be.
Yeah, but
so
that's every single World Cup. There's always a potential for stuff. Every Super Bowl, there's a potential.
I think the bigger issue here is not FIFA. It's, the bigger issue here is that maybe that cities that maybe shouldn't have bid. You know what I mean? Like Foxborough is like a small city according to them, right? They don't have a huge city. They happen to have a big ass stadium in their city. And because of that, they're going to host a tournament game. And there are probably other cities that have a much more robust operating budget and can handle this type of event without having to raise the red flag like they can do it.
Yeah.
So I think
very well could be ignorance.
Well, the World Cup is coming to the United States. Like, I want to host it, right? I mean, next week is the U.S. Open Cup game happening here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And, the host team, Flint, is responsible for filling seats, responsible for trying to find local partners to help cover the cost of the event, right? The U.S. Open Cup doesn't give them a ton of money to do that. And so what's the benefit for them to have that game in their stadium? Well, it's credibility. It's the aura of being part of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. I mean, all that stuff. Well, then the thing about it, Foxborough is not going to have a sign saying home of the World Cup, right? They'll be there probably forever.
Yep.
Right? I mean, there's things that you get now.
The Silver Dome hosted a World Cup.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like Pontiac.
I think that the aura and like this idea that I get to do this, like when we hosted the Super Bowl here in Michigan in 2006, I went down to Detroit. I never went to the game. I remember paying for a cab. I went 1 mile in the cab. It was $174. That was back in 2006.
That's probably like $400.
Right? And so it was, and I'm sitting there going, what? That was stupid. But everybody was having before us to go 1 mile, paying $150 to get in the cab. And so that exact same thing is going to happen in Foxborough. It's going to happen in LA. It's going to happen wherever. And everybody's going to be boosting their prices. So the city of Foxborough is going to gain, I can't tell you how much money in tax revenue from this. It's going to be off the charts. They're complaining now, but when the dust settles, they will have a boatload of cash from this event in their bank account. A boatload. Because all the liquor sales, all that stuff, the temporary liquor licenses are going to be given away.
Europeans like to drink.
All that stuff is going to generate a ton of revenue.
Yeah.
A ton.
I think it's interesting to look at Chicago as like a case study in this too, because they originally bid to host the World Cup, but officially withdrew in March of 2018. And a lot of it had to do with financial concerns around FIFA in the tournament. And it's like, so that it raises the question, like, why would Chicago not want to be a part of the FIFA World Cup? Like, that's perplexing to me. If we're talking about, it's going to be this wonderland and you're going to have all this money, then why did Chicago pull out? Why did Chicago pull out?
I think Chicago reasons are more aesthetics than anything else.
Internal.
I think aesthetically right now, there's a reason why Chicago is not really fighting that hard for their stadium. I mean, they are, but they're not.
Soldier Field's a dump anyway.
There's a reason why. I think right now that they have a huge image problem in Chicago, and it's not a huge. The vast majority of Chicago is not a problem. But there's certain pockets of Chicago that have become a very, very big issue, and it's gone down to like the Michigan Mile, right? It's gone down to the Magnificent Mile. People are getting robbed in the middle of like luxury lane,
Yeah.
right? And so that has created a huge problem, I think, from an
Been to
seen the
Chicago a
videos.
million times, never had an issue. But no, I hear you. I
No,
hear
I'm
what
just
you're
saying that imagery is really kind of like it's been around now for almost a decade,
Yeah.
and I think that they're trying to fight that, and I think it's probably why they pulled out. I think that
Yep.
was more of a same reason why we're seeing the Chicago Stadium in Indiana. Like, that doesn't make sense. So,
Yep.
But anyways, no, I saw this. I'm like, you guys, I get what you're saying, and I actually think that both of you are right in your statements. I think the whole backyard like barbecue example maybe wasn't the strongest one for you, Ryan, but the other one.
What did he say?
Well, you know, like the backyard barbecue, whatever you said about hosting a party, that one, I don't know if that landed as well, but.
No, it's simple. It's the tournament comes to us. I'm not in charge of all the sponsorships. The tournament's in charge. It's the FIFA World Cup. It is not called the United States World Cup. It is called the FIFA World Cup. And then we also had a comment from Schrock who said, did coverage of various large tournaments, including PGA in Benton Harbor, Michigan, Random Twirling Championship. I don't know what that is. Of over 100 teams at Notre Dame and South Bend. The city doesn't get money. They did get the economic impact from fans and teams coming and eating, shopping, etc. So, like,
well, that comes in the form of, again, remember, every restaurant has a tax, right? There's city taxes, there's local tax, there's parking. All that stuff generates revenue. Now, it may not be direct tax income, but everybody is going to be paying money. And if they're spending money in your city, you're damn right the city's getting a piece of that. So, you know, it might not be a direct thing, but indirectly. You know, you don't think that they're going to have more cops giving out tickets during that time period as well, and giving out more parking tickets and
you're 5 over.
I mean, that entire time is going to be just up the wazoo. Parking is going to be $4,000 to park your car 2 blocks away from the stadium. I mean, you know, and so but I think the thing that, from my perspective, is I think in a good partnership, everybody has to win, right? Everybody has to win. And we know that FIFA is typically the one that's always winning.
Yeah.
Right? They're always winning.
The corporations always win.
Right? And so what does the NFL always do? They always win. I mean, nobody else ever really, I mean, you get some, you know, but that partnership isn't a two-way street. It's a one-way street in the NFL. It's a one-way street in FIFA. It's a one-way street in the NHL. It's a one-way street in the NBA. All these big conglomerate organizations, like these leagues and these tournaments, these governing bodies, they all control that path. And so I think that if you don't want it to happen anymore, then you have to literally do what Iran's doing, and you just no one plays. And they make that statement.
Well, that's a different circumstance.
Huh?
Oh, that's a different circumstance.
No, but again, what
I think he means just like don't play the World Cup. I think that's what he
whatever
means. Just
reason
don't.
they're using to not play in the World Cup would be enough of a like if teams from around the world just said we're not going to do this anymore, we can't stand what FIFA is doing, it would force hands to change.
Yep. But you know that's not going to happen.
If teams drop out of this thing, FIFA would be forced to make a change. Right?
Yep.
So I think that's the only way you can impact change. If every NFL team said we're not putting up with this anymore.
Yeah, and there's the other side of it. There are economists that doubt the projections, and I'm not an economist. I didn't go to school for that shit. I didn't go into financials. I didn't go into anything regarding money. So I'm going to trust their opinion a little bit more than
I'll say
maybe
this
mine.
In terms of the whole projection of money. Qatar wasn't supposed to be anything. South Africa wasn't supposed to be anything. Massive issues with Brazil, yet they all came out just fine.
They came out just fine. People died.
Well, okay,
Right.
outside of building the stadiums, but from a money standpoint, yes, they came out just fine.
We've heard this time and time again when it comes to large events like this, the Olympics, the World Cup, where these countries build massive stadiums that end up going dormant and empty after they're long gone. You hear about it all the time. The great thing about the United States is that the infrastructure is already there. And so no one built a stadium, or if a stadium was being built, it was being built for another need, and this becomes a repurpose. So nobody here right now has spent any money infrastructurally on anything related to this tournament. And so that's the plus side of all this. Now, whether or not there's enough money being generated, the big problem is we turn this into a bougie event, which the average soccer fan who wants to go watch Team Brazil, who lives in the United States, doesn't have $12,000 to go watch the game. And so who's going to benefit from that? Well, the restaurants and the bars are. Right? And so we might not see as packed stadiums maybe as we were going to see, but you are going to see the restaurants, the bars, all the environments that maybe will create these cool environments where these fans are going to go and spend their $45, $50, eat some food, have some beers, be a part of that. That's where the money's going to be made in this tournament. And I don't think you can project that. I don't think there's a way to project that. So I think that we're going to see a restaurant boom. I think you're going to see restaurants that don't normally open up at 9 o'clock in the morning, open up at 9 o'clock in the morning all day. It's like St. Patty's Day for a month. And so I think that's what you're going to see. I think that impact in this country is going to be far greater than going to a World Cup game paying $12,000.
And I guess that's where it gets confusing too, because if a lot of these projections are based off of ticket prices and not necessarily all the other residual that comes from everything outside of the game, is that where the instability comes from? Because they don't think that people are legitimately going to buy some of these tickets, especially in the later rounds when it gets into 3, 4, 5, over $10,000. Like that's the thing. Like if everybody bought every ticket, then I'm sure that we would hit that number right on the nose. But maybe that's the biggest concern, buying food and going to those things. But I hear you.
Hey, people bought.
Thanks for dropping
in. And we've made soccer inaccessible in a lot of places because of how we do things in the youth environment. And now we've made it inaccessible at the World Cup environment. I mean, I would love to go to a World Cup game, but I'm not going to spend $10,000 to go watch the game. I mean, it doesn't make any sense on any level. I wouldn't spend $10,000 on a trip, let alone a weekend. Going to, Right. So it's things like that. So I agree that the economists might have it wrong. I mean, you have to wait and see. But I just don't know how much I feel for a city like Foxborough, who went through the process.
They got 6 Super Bowls. They're fine.
Bidding for this environment and aren't happy with what they're getting out of it when they knew darn well who they were bidding with. Yeah. This isn't like FIFA has been like known. I mean, FIFA's been pretty rough for a long time. I don't think it's going to be any better anytime soon. So.
Yeah.
But, thanks for having me out here. This is great. This is a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, Ryan. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I invited you. I had a lot of text messages throughout the show, so I'm like looking and I see send link, and I go, this has got to be like a wrong text from you, John. And like I've seen my phone is in a spot where I can see it, and I go send link. I go, this has got to be a wrong text, and he's like, I'm hopping in the show. I'm like, all right, and then we lose internet, and then I'm like, what's going on? And then Nate's like, let's go to commercial break. And then I see, hold on, wait a second. John's hopping. I go, we can't.
Hold up.
And then, hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. And then,
right.
And then John's hopping in. The weirdest part is about the whole thing is there's like 3 or 4 words that are said to my left that I can hear before it enters my headphones. So it was really weird. I just had to zone out all the outside noise.
Well, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that nuance, Ryan. We'll have to find someone that can maybe deal with that better. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, some earplugs in.
No,
hey,
I saw this kind of thing, and I thought it was great. I think that I think both of you bring great points, and unfortunately, my biggest takeaway from all of this is that it's not the city's fault. It's not FIFA. I think everyone takes fault in this. It's not just hey, it's FIFA's. No, well, I mean, again, if you want to host something, you have to understand what's about the part you're going to be dealing with. And these cities know.
Yep.
They know that they have 75,000 people coming to watch their games, and they know what that looks like. You can't fit more than 75,000 people in Foxborough. I mean, so the fact that who pays for that now? I'm assuming the Patriots pay for security around the stadium.
Probably.
With their deal with Foxborough. Right? And so if they didn't put that in their bid, but my guess is also as part of their bid, they probably also put it there like, hey, we'll do certain things and to make it more, sexy for FIFA to take them. Maybe we'll pay for our security. Oh crap. And they realize, oh crap, that's gonna be a lot more money because FIFA is saying you need to have extra this. Well, you didn't say
Yeah.
that, and now we're out. So my guess is that that's what really kind of what happened here is we want to win it, and we submitted a bid that made it more sexy, and now FIFA is making it less sexy for us. So, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I don't think anybody's innocent on either side, but
I love the growth of this show, by the way. You guys have done a fantastic job. I've been excited. I have not watched a lot of this show. I just so happen to be hearing Ryan screaming from the room over there. Well, what is going on? And then I turned it on, and you're both screaming at each other. I'm like, wow, this is great stuff for TV.
wow.
This happened 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
But
It's by design.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it was
Have a
manufactured.
great rest of your show, guys.
All right, see ya.
John Turner, everybody. John Turner.
I knew. The minute you're like, we have a surprise guest coming on, I'm like, oh man, I already know. Oh, good stuff from JT.
It was manufactured, everyone. Before the show, Nate, we're talking about it. I was like, Nate, you pick one side, I pick one side. We'll just argue back and forth. No, that was actually, dude. We haven't manufactured a crash out yet. That's kind of impressive.
2 crash outs in 2 days. Yeah, it is. It's going down on Inside the Game. The people are enjoying it, I hope. But yeah, no, it's it's a lot of blame to go around. But that's funny, JT hopping in. That's the first time we've had him on, I think, since season 1 when all 3 of us were together. So yeah, crazy. Good stuff.
So we are way late for these breaks.
Yeah, let's take a commercial break.
Tell us about Barcelona first. I know it's not like normal, but we've only had 2 commercials in the one thing. So in the 1 hour. So please tell us about Barcelona Academy, Nate.
Let's get into it a little bit. Barca Academy is a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30 or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I see my son grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
The National Soccer Network presents the MLIS and WMLIS Finals weekend. 8 teams battling for a championship at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't miss the excitement March 28th and 29th as the top indoor soccer teams compete for the title. Watch every match live and exclusively on the National Soccer Network.
Yeah, just about time for the WMLIS National Championship and the MLIS National Championship. Very own Ryan Glinsky actually going to be on the pregame, halftime and postgame show for that broadcast. I'm assuming. Okay.
Kevin, who does the Cleveland Crunch, and then Tanner. They'll be doing it. Kevin, I think he works for the Cavs, I believe. Funny enough, talking to him, and then I'll get to meet Tanner in person. And ask him where the gym is. That's where I'll ask him.
Yeah. Man, what was I gonna say? I had something to tell you.
Oh, I will say something because
Okay.
totally bypassed it. But here on the National Soccer Network, it was announced today that we'll be doing the pregame and the postgame show for the Flint City Bucks game at for the U.S. Open
there he
Cup,
is.
and
All right.
presented by Irene's Craft Kitchen and Beer Garden. Fun fact, well, not fun fact, interesting thing to keep an eye out on socials. John and I will be doing some taste testing at Irene's Craft Kitchen and Beer Garden before the game. So right after the show on Thursday next week, I'm going to get out of here real quick. John and I are going to shoot up to Grand Blanc. We're going to do some food testing, put it out on social media because who doesn't like food content? And then
I
we're
love
going to
it.
go to the fields, do the game, and yeah, have a good time. Shout out Irene's.
Awesome. All right. I've never been before, so looking forward to seeing what your review is there. No, really fun, and looking forward to what we got coming up too. Kevin Arnold, does he do? You said he works with the Cavaliers.
I think it works like with the radio side of the Cavs. That's what I saw on his Instagram. I
Yeah,
think.
fill-in host. Yeah, with the Cavs. Yeah, I thought I recognized that name. Awesome. So cool. You guys are gonna have him involved.
But he
with
does
that.
the
So,
Cleveland
and obviously,
Crunch like all season, I guess. That's like his team.
yeah,
So
that's awesome. And
I think
obviously,
Cleveland's
shout
in
out.
the finals, which they just followed us on Instagram, by the way. Shout out to
Oh.
Cleveland Crunch. I don't say many good
Shout
things
out,
about the
shout
state of
out.
Ohio, but there's one.
Cleveland, you're all right. But moving the conversation along here on Inside the just Cleveland,
Nope.
not the rest of Ohio.
Anything
just
Ohio
Cleveland.
sucks. Anything
I
Ohio.
know we know you don't. We know you don't like LeBron, and they're not going to like you very much for not liking LeBron for following our
Well,
show.
to
But I
be-
just got to
well-
call you out like that.
I did a show with a former Cleveland Browns wide receiver. And he wasn't a huge fan of Cleveland either. He was a big he liked the Jets more than the Browns, which
Yeah.
well the Jets were actually good when he was playing there. So crazy to say that in a sentence. The Jets were good.
Yeah. Moving into, I mean, I guess we could talk about all sports, but since we're rolling along with the soccer conversation, may as well fit this one in there. Is there an identity crisis in the Premier League? Chelsea and following the Chelsea and City results. Ryan, I'll just let you set the table for this one.
Yeah, so everyone, oh God. See, this is why I hate my team sometimes, because this is why I hate being an Arsenal fan, because everything you do, whether it's good or bad, is put on a microscope and everyone has to say something about it. It's really annoying. So yesterday, in the right before the game, John Obi Mikel, this is more of an Arsenal thing, complained about the way Arsenal plays and how it's corners and how he would not recognize them as champions if they won based on the way that they're playing in terms of corners. Well, John, if you were 7 points clear with 8 games to go in the Premier League, I think you'd be pretty happy regardless of if you win or how you do it or not. I don't care if you score PK,
Yep.
win 1-0 every single game. You'll win. Doesn't matter. But then, later in the day, Arsenal plays Leverkusen. Shout out Malik Tillman for a horrible challenge on Noni Madueke, giving us a PK. Malik, I don't know what you were doing there, man. Like, that is the most bonehead play I've ever seen you make. Then, right after that was the early game. And then right after that, after the game ends, do a couple things here, drive on home. All of a sudden, get a notification on my phone. Valverde, first half hat-trick against Man City. I go, damn, that's awesome.
Mm.
Then they win 3-0 Real Madrid against Man City. Then all of a sudden, I see Chelsea loses 5-2 to PSG. I'm sitting there, I go, this is pretty awesome because, like, I'm not the type of guy, like, especially when it comes to conferences. This is why I hate the SEC sometimes. I don't root for the conference. I don't root for the league. I root for my team. Is there, like, maybe a team that, like, you know what, I wouldn't mind them winning it from the Big Ten or the Premier League? Sure. But you know what? 99% of the time, I really hope that a team inside my league or inside my conference doesn't win it. Like, I really don't want that to happen. So then, Mark Goldbridge and a couple other people came out and said there's an identity crisis in the Premier League. Why? Because it is whenever, for some reason, the Premier League does this the most. Whenever one thing works, everybody copies it. No one thinks outside the box after the one thing happens. And besides, like, a couple people that obviously start the whole trend. And he says the Premier League is too reliant on set pieces, which is true.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the Premier League teams are too scared to take risks. And that all started when Pep Guardiola got into the league, which means build it through the back, center backs play to center backs up the field. We're not going to take many risks because we don't want to get beat over the top in a counterattack. Like if we were to flash forward to, or not flash forward, if we were to go back in time 10 years ago, this is the exact opposite of what the Premier League used to look like. Used to be fast flowing. Yeah, it was there Chelsea with Jose Mourinho that would defend a little bit more than others. Yeah, but no one outside of that really did it. So then Thierry Henry, the same yesterday, gave a really good example of how the game is evolving. And he said he did a list of the top 5 players in the league, or the players in the top 5 players in the league that have completed the most passes. Nate, I want you to guess what position group all 5 of these players were in that have completed passes.
Completed passes?
Yeah, just completed passes.
I
The
mean,
most
midfielders,
passes.
right?
Huh?
Midfielders? Is it
No,
in the midfield
It would
group?
be center backs. Center backs have completed the most 5. Exactly. It's the same face I gave. But if you were to go 10 years ago, it was all midfielders. And Thierry
Wow.
Henry sits there and talks about this no one wants to take risks anymore. It's all about playing safe. It's like, let's just keep
Yeah.
the ball. Maybe instead of risking a pass going forward, let's just play it sideways. That's what it is. And then he broke it
Yeah.
down on the counterattacking goals. So he broke the counterattacking goals from last year to the 2015, same time frame as the passes. 112 counterattacking goals in 15. Or 2015. Guess how many counterattacking goals were last year?
Half of that?
38. 38 counterattacking goals. So nobody wants to take risks anymore. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
issue with that is the game is becoming stale. The game is becoming boring, and that's why everyone hates the whole Arsenal way of playing things. But let me tell you something. Pep ruined it. That's why I still say 2010 Spain has ruined the game of soccer. Too many passes, even though how beautiful
Yeah.
they play together. But that's the issue right now with the Premier League is they're so stuck on playing out of the back, which, again, the good teams can do it. Play out of the back, play it safe. We'll bring our center backs just inside the halfway line in the opposing half. We'll just play everyone. Maybe people make some runs, some diagonal runs in behind, maybe, but like it's very stale. It's very safe. So what do you have to do in those situations where you can't generate as much offense? What do you rely on? Set pieces, whether that's free kicks, whether that's corner kicks, or I guess PK is technically a set piece, but that doesn't happen as much. So you have to rely on free kicks and set piece and corners, because that's the best way you can score goals. Which, without it being like organized, I guess defensively, it just creates chaos.
Yeah.
Because the ball can bounce anywhere. It's like in hockey, anywhere around the net, the puck can bounce anywhere and go in the net.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to do. But when the league is when the teams that the good teams are playing all the time are forced to do this because the lower teams are doing this, this is what's going to happen. And there is 100% an identity crisis in the Premier League because everyone plays the same way. The Premier League used to be fast-flowing, up and down the field, counterattack. The goals of the month used to be insane, Nate. When I first started watching this thing, like the top 10 goals of the month were unbelievable. Volleys from 30 yards out. Free kicks, unbelievable. Players going by themselves, beating 4 or 5 defenders. Passes in and around the box, and they split everyone, and then it's an unbelievable goal. Or strikes from outside the 18. Everyone plays it safe now. And that's becoming an issue, and everyone's upset about it. Then it just happens to be Arsenal the year that they could their best chance of winning the league just happens to be this year, and they blame Arsenal. But it's not Arsenal's fault. It's Pep's fault. Because we have teams from the championship playing away as a Premier League side. They can't do that. They don't have the players to do that. So Pep gets here, and all of a sudden the whole English game is the same thing. It used to be so fast play, so free-flowing. Everyone took risks. That's why we see players like Jack Grealish or Eberechi Eze come into sides like Man City and Arsenal that used to be so creative on the ball. Now they're just put in a box. And it's sad to see. And then Grealish leaves, and all of a sudden he becomes a stud for Everton. Why? Because he's allowed to play free-flowing. That's how players are. And on these big teams, it's so stale to watch. It's so boring. I mean, I don't really know the it'd be like it's almost like Army Navy, man. Just options running the football all over the place. But they have identities. But there's an identity crisis in the Premier League, and these other leagues don't have it. That's why they're beating these Premier League teams so bad.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's become boring and systematic. Is there another sport by chance, Ryan Glinsky, that reminds you of it all? Where it used to be fast and exciting and high flying, and now it's become slow and soft and systematic
Basketball?
and all about yes.
Okay.
So you know who I think, and I wouldn't say I blame him because he was just playing his game, but he changed the way the game is played forever. And now we see what we see now, which is 79,000 threes every game. Everything's
Steph.
called a foul. Steph Curry. Steph Curry was that player. So if you could say Pep, and I agree, from everything that you laid out, Pep is probably that guy. He is that guy. Because that is one style of playing. Those Spain teams did it in the 2010s. Obviously, Pep does it. I think Mauricio Pochettino has certainly tried to, course correct this U.S. men's national team to be more of a possession and pass out of the back kind of team. We've seen that from Poch with the U.S. men's national team. So we see this a lot because I don't know if it's just the maturation of the game. I don't know if the game's maturing and the teams are just starting to play that way. But to your point, it's not every league. And so that's why, we start to see these odd results because the Prem has just gotten into a certain way. I see that in the exact same way with the NBA because NBA players, when it comes to international play, sometimes they struggle because they're going up against European teams who play a very different way. They hit their free throws, they move the ball, they're physical, they move the ball inside. Just the way that these European countries play the game of basketball is a lot different than the way we play it in the NBA. And if you're gonna say Pep was the reason, well, in basketball, I mean, my closest example would probably be Steph. Now everyone thinks they're Steph, and so that's just kind of the way the game changed. But could you see it going backwards, going back to what it was before? Is this just a phase in the Premier League? I mean, or do you think this is something that's going to remain?
The game always evolves. It always does, and like you can kind of see a couple examples just for your basketball example. Look at a guy like Cade Cunningham, like. That's now I think the next evolution of having like a 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" point guard that can drive and might not necessarily be the best 3-point shooter, but drives down the lane. I think that'll be the next evolution of that. But for the Premier League, because Thierry Henry talked about it too. He said it's what the evolution was in terms of everything of you got to get the ball out wide, cross it in, you go out to go in, and then it used to be let's drive to the middle, let's isolate our wingers and one-on-one opportunities, drive to the goal. Like. The game evolves all the time. That's what makes sports so brilliant, and that's why, like, college basketball right now, the way Dusty May has the team picked, that's the same way Florida was last year, and the same thing is UConn when they were winning. Bigs, dominate the boards. Let's have 3 massive dudes, from the 5 to the 3, dominate the glass, which means you should get more free throws. And all that fun stuff, and you eliminate rebounds and second chance opportunities for the other team. So that's that evolution. For soccer, I have no idea what the evolution will be, but I just think that there will be another evolution. I don't know what it'll be. I don't know what it will. I don't know what it is, but I think there will be a team that, again, the team has to win or get into the top 4. It's got to do something. I think it can go back. It can because I think you see in sports all the time where, look at football 10 years ago or 5 years ago, it was air raid offense, right? Now we're starting to see the importance a little bit more of running backs. That might also be because the quarterbacks coming in all the time suck now. Because that's what the RPO game does. But I think it will go back. I think the soccer, it will go back to what it used to be. I think I guess I shouldn't say what it used to be. I think there will be another evolution. I think it'll go back to fast flowing, free flowing soccer. But it will have to. Someone's gonna have to take that risk to do it. I don't know what it is because what is one of the best things to do in life is just to do what everyone else is doing, be safe about it. Like risk takers, that's a lot. Like no one. Yeah. Like me trying to pursue this field, this isn't this. I guess I had a cousin that was in the broadcasting field, but everyone else in my family is a shop guy, an engineer, or something that's not this. So this is a bit of a risk when I told my parents when I wanted to do something like this as a career. Even though I was technically broadcasting from the age of 5, I just never knew it. But this was a risk, and sometimes you got to take risks to do something. Like, I could have been an engineer, and I could have been having a cushy job because of my last name. I could have had that wherever, but instead took a little bit of a risk, and that's what a lot of risks. That's how sometimes greatness is. Not saying myself I'll be like the greatest thing of all time. I'm not saying that. But what I'm getting at is in sports, so the best managers and the best coaches and the best teams all take risks, and they all change the game in some way. Like Steph Curry, a lot of people, I still think he is, but a lot of people think he's the greatest point guard of all time because he's the first ever to develop the 3-point shooter and all that. Maybe some people say Magic, and I could see that argument. He's the best shooter of all time. No one can deny that. But he took a risk, and Steve Kerr took a risk. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Hey, you're going to be a point forward, man. After you're done kicking people in the balls, you're a point forward. So, no, you just got to take risks, man.
Now, he's, I think Draymond Green has still kicked more balls than Jeremy Fears, but he's quickly catching up to him. So
I don't know what it is. Did you hear his,
out.
when he was asked about it after the game, Jeremy Fears? Did you hear what he was asked about, or what he said?
No.
Nope. He's sitting there in the locker room with his headphones are like that. And they're like, let's take me through that play. Like, maybe did something. Like, the reporter's trying to see if something that Elliot Cadeau may have said to him or did something prior in the game, like before, to escalate this. And he goes, "Oh, you mean the play I got fouled?" And he's like, "The one where you got a technical foul." He goes, "Oh, the one where I got fouled. Well, I should have just flopped and fell down. Like, I should have just flopped." Like, no accountability. It's like, Jeremy, you kicked a grown man in the groin, and this is not the first time. Figure it out.
Is Tom Izzo having these conversations with him? Like, is there any sort of...
Schrock says we need a graphic of all-time ball kicker list.
All-time ball kickers? That could get very suggestive very fast, Schrock.
Well,
I don't know
think
if we
Messi
want
would be
to,
number one, just because I think he kicks the ball the best.
Probably. I mean,
Draymond and Jeremy Fears would be up there. Dude, we should do that tomorrow.
One ball, not two balls.
Top 5 ball kicker lists. We can do that tomorrow, Schrock. We'll do that tomorrow after you come into our comments and say, "I'm back." But to answer your question, no, Izzo is not, because the way he responds to certain things, there's no accountability with this thing. And the most annoying part is Michigan State so upset about Michigan never takes accountability. Harbaugh never took accountability. Jawan never took accountability. Dusty May last year didn't take accountability. Well, your prime example, Mr. Michigan State himself, is not taking accountability. So we can't have this. Did Michigan not take accountability for all that stuff? 100% they didn't. But you aren't either. So we can't have that conversation is now dead. We can't have it anymore. But
I know that Izzo wants. Yeah, I know that Izzo wants tough guys. I know that Izzo wants, but there's a difference between being tough and being Bush League. And Jeremy Fears has crossed that line, I don't know how many times at this point. Just another classic example. So, yeah, the all-time ball kickers coming up tomorrow here on Inside the Game. Messi certainly being number one on that list. Let's tell you a little bit about Man City, then we'll bring it back here on Inside the Game. But Man City Soccer Camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States, open to boys and girls of all skill levels. These camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30. Again, that's MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. right back in for hour number 2 here on Inside the Game. We should probably get into some all sports content now.
Our last 29
we did
minutes.
soccer for an hour and a half there. We've been all over the board, but
I'm
our
not gonna lie,
soccer
this is
audience
probably our
has
most
been-
unorganized show of all time.
Oh yeah, but
The last
it's
2
been
days.
probably
Last
not
2 days
gonna-
have
but
really
it's been
unorganized.
fun. It's been fun though. I mean,
I would
you
agree.
can't say
I'd
it's
agree.
not
Our best
fun. I feel
numbers
like,
during the unorganized shows too. I think it's
during
great.
the unorganized crap. I guess that goes to show what people like, right? They watch Pat McAfee, so maybe not saying I'm Pat McAfee, but they like the
They
like the chaos.
They don't argue a ton on McAfee. I feel like
They
they're
don't.
just like a good group of like dudes. I guess if that makes sense. Like
There's different types of, and that's the thing that's funny about sports content is like, depending on what your style is and what you like, you'll find something different. I'm not going to listen to Big Cat if I want to hear two people go at it and debate a topic like, Big Cat or Pat McAfee or any of those guys. Like, they're just hanging out. They're just dudes, like, which is, it's great. I like it. I like
Guys
it when the
being
Oregon
dudes.
Duck comes on, and I like it when the Oregon
Dudes
Duck
being
comes on and
guys.
nearly, yeah, exactly. What could go wrong? And then obviously you have the Stephen A. and Skip Bayless saga of sports, or Stephen A.
God.
and
that was always
Max
bad.
Kellerman. Yeah, Max Kellerman
There
during his
was-
time with Stephen A. It was
Yesterday, Nate, I was scrolling through TikTok, and it was like I forget. I think it was Fanatics, and the guy goes, "All right, I want to test if you guys know more about geography in the world or sports knowledge." And I didn't get any of the geography ones right, but I got
Did you
all
get
3.
one?
No, because it was like the second highest mountain in the world. What is the
Oh,
capital of this
okay.
other country? I don't know. And then
Was it Kilimanjaro or Everest? Which one was it?
M2 or something. Mount Everest is the
Oh.
tallest. I knew that.
I thought Kilimanjaro was. Oh,
The guy
okay.
said
All right, well,
2 in it. I don't know. I've never heard
oh,
of it
okay.
before.
All right.
And then there was another one that I didn't get. But it wasn't like it wasn't stuff I knew. Now, if you give me flags, I can name the flags all day want. But like the 3 sports questions, I got like that. And one of them was, finish this quote, or who said this? They have the Martians pointing the death beam at Earth. One shot, you gotta hit it.
Oh yeah.
Who said this? And I go, that's Max Kellerman. One was, who was the quarterback that
Max
had the butt
Kellerman.
fumble? And I said
Yeah.
Mark Sanchez, not Max. Sorry. We're gonna talk about Max, but Mark Sanchez. And then
Oh,
what was the
man.
other one? Because it was a college football question, so I got it like that. It was like the winner of some national championship, and it was what year? It was like Alabama. And then the guy ends with, he goes, "You might be cooked," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I might be cooked."
Oh man. Well, hey, I mean, it's good for our purposes. It's good for what you do for a living. I mean, hell, man. I mean, just it's what you do. So you got to know your stuff. And it's funny because like when you work in sports, people just assume you know everything about every sport ever
I
in the
try.
history of the world. Like especially with being a broadcaster, I try to, but I don't. I'm not even close. But we'll try to learn a little bit more. But let's get into some of our all sports stuff here. In the last 25 of our show today. Of course, we still got question of the day we got to get to. But the U.S. and Canada, they are on a crash course to meet yet again. We're 3-0 in our last 3 meetings. Now, of course, not all of them were in. They were all in, I believe, knockout games. Obviously,
No,
the
not
Gold
the
Cup
not the
or
U.S.
Gold
women's
Cup.
one. That was a group stage game.
No, that was a group stage game. Okay.
Yeah.
But the U.S. women's national team winning a gold medal. U.S. men's national team winning a gold medal. She Believes Cup beat them 1-0. And now we will be facing off against the Canadians in the World Baseball Classic quarterfinals. Now, shout out Italy yesterday and getting that win over Mexico. Who was it that had the home runs? My favorite Italian.
Is he actually from
what's
Italy
his
or is he
name?
from the United States?
Vinny Pasquantino. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so he is from the U.S., but he's got a lot of Italian blood, so I guess, whatever, I'll give it to him. Because I know we talked about that yesterday, like you have to have some sort of ties. So, I mean, but with a name like Vinny Pasquantino, I'm not quite
Pretty
sure how
Italian,
it gets
if you ask me.
any more than that. So, shout out Italy for getting us into the next round. But yeah, Ryan, another matchup against Team Canada, and they got some dudes. They got some dudes on that Canadian team. I got to look
Who?
up the roster and see who they have, but Well, man, what's his face?
If I'm being honest,
Josh
I
Naylor.
don't know anything
Josh
about
Naylor.
Canadian baseball.
He's my favorite.
Like, if I'm being honest, I had no care in the world for Canada before the Olympics. I could care less about them because
Also, shout out Micah Ashman, West Michigan Whitecap with the Canadians. But go ahead.
like, I get it. They beat the U.S. men's national team a couple of times, but they beat us in the Nations League. I could care less about Nations League. They beat us in a World Cup qualifier. Could care less about that. So instead, and then they get to the World Cup, and I think they get like 1 point or 0 points. I think they lose all three. Like, it was bad, and I could care less about them. And then basketball happens. Yeah, they got SGA. Yeah, they got Jamal Murray.
Yep.
They get R.J. Barrett, who I was a big fan of at Duke. I said he was going to be the best one out of him, Reddish, and Zion, and I get that's probably right, but not because he's this great player. It's just Zion's fat and Cam Reddish sucks. But I didn't care. Then all of a sudden we get to the Olympics, and that's awesome. I would not have cared about Canada if even if we won, like when we won, did not care. It was all the stuff after the fact, all the meltdowns, them blaming the loss on Trump. Dude, Trump didn't play in the game. How could that have affected it? Like, and then the way that they've treated Kachuk and Austin Matthews, or I mean, I haven't heard anything about Hellebuck, but I'm sure he got a lot of a stick from the fans. But like the way that they just like have acted, they've acted like children after that game. Look, guys, it is a hockey game. No one died. You can still live your life. I get it. I have to live in the greatest football rivalry of all, college football rivalry of all time. There really ain't no NFL rivalry, so the best football rivalry of all time. No, it's second because Army-Navy will always like, that's just America right there. That's pure America right there. Can I really say that?
Wait, what?
Can I say, are we allowed to say Army-Navy is a better rivalry than Michigan-Ohio State? Because that's just America. Like, that is pure America. That is no NIL. Like, that's America. That's not.
From a tradition perspective, yeah, I'll give you that. From a tradition perspective, sure.
But
I think when you add in all the success of the two programs, Michigan, Ohio State, that just takes it to another level. But yes,
yeah,
no, I hear what you're saying.
I will still always say like that's the best rivalry.
Yeah.
But to like you look back a little bit, like that's America right there. Those guys are going to be defending our country. Like,
yeah, and they're not going to win a national championship. They're not going to go to the playoffs, right? So that
like,
individual
they're just
game
for
means
pride. Like that is that's what football should be. That's what college football used to be. Yeah, I will always say Michigan, Ohio State. Like I lived in that best rivalry of all time. But like I don't act like the way Canada acts after the World Cup or after the Olympics. So I hate them now. Like let's beat them in everything.
Well, and it's funny because to those people who are the loudest, they must not remember 2010. They must not remember when they were there. I mean, I get it. It's still going to hurt regardless. Like you still want to win the one that's in front of you. But no, absolutely. And it's funny because the coping mechanisms, and this was something that I mentioned on the show afterwards, you know, it very much reminded me of Ohio State when we beat them for that first time in all those years. You know, how
the flu?
can we potentially spin this narrative? It's the flu. It's the snow. It's the everything. Every single little thing you could think of, they thought of to be like, no, you didn't beat us straight up. We lost. You didn't beat us. We beat us. Same thing with Canada. And it just cracks me up because it's like, well, we outshot you. It's like, okay, yeah, we survived the storm and won. Have you ever watched a hockey game in your life? It's not the first time it's ever happened. I guarantee you it'll probably happen this week in the NHL. Like this is how the game
all the
goes.
time too.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, Panama has one shot on goal against us and they end up beating us. It's like
do people realize
okay.
like do these Canadians not realize like sometimes the better team doesn't always win? Like I get it, it's a little bit more like it's a little bit more rare in like football and basketball, but what says that there isn't a game where like the one team has four, like I'll give you a perfect example. The bowl game last year with Alabama, Michigan. The only reason Michigan won the game was because Alabama had like 5 turnovers inside their own 20, and Michigan still couldn't put touchdowns up. They still kicked field goals. And then, but if you look at the game, Alabama was better, like in every aspect. But Michigan won the game. Why? Because a team just had so many mistakes. So I don't understand. I know Canada's not a lot of big games, like overall. Like I know they're not in the big stuff. Like I get it. It's hockey. Like, that's your thing. I know you're not good at football. I know you're not good at basketball. I know you're not good at swimming. I get it. But, like, guys, you can still live. You can still live your life.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Still could just move on.
And
know?
maybe, just maybe, give the U.S. team a little bit of credit. Just maybe. Just maybe. I don't know how that. I don't know how that all works.
Of course they can't. Of course they can't. Nope, they got to keep it all for themselves.
Need coffee?
But
Need
I need
caffeine
something. Something like that. But yeah, it's always funny to me too, because and even we talked about obviously that clown Sid from Toronto, talking about the U.S. has been a dumpster fire since 1980. This program has. I get it, but how long did it take you until you finally won your first gold after Russia was done whooping on everybody? 50 years. Like, okay, so it took you a while to get there, and so now we finally got there, but you're going to do everything you can to just try and downplay it, try and take it away. Now, I don't get caught up in the people who are like, oh, this team didn't earn it, this team tarnished their reputation. It's like, fuck you, okay? It meant something to me, and it meant something to a lot of people.
Let's get back to the baseball part of things. I don't know about NFL.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was looking at the Canadian roster here. So they got Jameson Taillon, Matt Wilkinson of the Lake County Captains. They call him Tugboat because he's like 5'10". I think he's like just an inch taller than me. It's a great nickname. Bo Naylor. That's who I was thinking of.
The Guardians guy.
Who else do they have on this? So Bo Naylor and Josh Naylor are both on the team. Josh is the certified lunatic.
Which one looks like
Wario? I love the way he plays. That would be Josh Naylor. Would be the he was on Seattle last year and we played them.
He was on the Guardians the year before.
Yes. Yep. And so his brother currently I believe is with the Guardians. So yeah, I mean they got some dudes. Tyler Black is on there. Denzel Clark, who is just probably the biggest freak athlete in Major League Baseball right now. His home run robberies are just disgusting. Tyler O'Neill is only hitting 143 right now, probably not great. So I mean, they got some dudes. They could potentially beat us, but no, I just Canada just bothers the shit out of me, man.
I know
they really do.
Never did,
and they didn't. No, they never did. And I understand that it really kind of started with the whole political sphere thing, and then it kind of spilled over into anything else. But I want to talk to my Canadian friends on this podcast here today, just right now, just one-on-one. You can't hold each and every single individual American to this standard that you've created in your head when you look at the country and what our politicians are doing. I have no control over what uber wealthy people do in positions of power that I will never reach. The truth is that, the U.S. and the people within the U.S., much like we said earlier about Iran and those players going out and competing, they go out and compete because they want to represent the people in their communities, where they came from, the people around them. If I were to represent the U.S. and if I were to go out and play, I'm not thinking about my supreme leader. Okay, I'm thinking about my parents. I'm thinking about my friends. I'm thinking about my cousins. I'm thinking about the people who are closest to me. I'm thinking about maybe my wife or my girlfriend or boyfriend. I don't judge, but that's who I'm thinking of. If you're out there and if you're competing for the country, those are the people that we are competing for. That is the red, white, and blue and the flag. All of that. That's what it means to us, is the people in the community. I'm not going out to play for my supreme leader. I mean, that's not the first thing that's on my mind. So let's not take politics. Yeah, let's not take politics and make it, oh, they're just a bunch of this or a bunch of that. You don't know that. You don't know that. You haven't met them. You don't know them. They are going out and they are competing, and they are competing for the communities and the places in which they came from, which, yes, it is red, white, and blue, and it is the U.S. And I think it's BS. And that's the thing about like Canadian fans that I think has really bothered the hell out of me. It's not bad enough to just be like, well, we were the better team than you. You didn't deserve to win that game. No, they have to take it to the extra extent, which is, well, you guys are just a bunch of this and a bunch of that, and you're all just a bunch of puppets for your leader. Listen, no, they're athletes. They're going out to compete. And you know what? More than that, it means a lot to them to actually be able to compete and represent Chicago or New York or Atlanta or Dallas or wherever the hell they came from. That's what it means to these players. They're not going out for political matters. It's not like we're winning or losing voting rights based on who wins this game. Like, wherever you fall on the spectrum, you're on this team, you're representing the U.S. And here's the great thing, you could actually have those opinions here in the U.S. A lot of other places, you can't. You either support the party or you die. That's how it goes. So I think it's important, and I think that's the thing that maybe bothers me the most about Canadian fans is that exactly. So it's not about that. It's about representing the person to your right and the person to your left. That's the most important thing. So when I continue to see politics boil over into sports, and obviously there's a lot of different conversations you can have there. I'll allow you guys to have those conversations amongst yourself, but it certainly distracts and it certainly takes away. And if you're one of those people out there that is trying to do everything you can to just take away anything you can from American athletes, look in a mirror. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. I don't know how I got off on that one, but Ben wanted to say that on our show for a while.
I just would say
So,
it's not that big of a deal, Canada. It's not that big of a deal. I've
calm
witnessed
down. Gosh.
I witnessed a decade of Ohio State beating Michigan, and I'm still here. Just saying. We had a coach that was DMing OnlyFans models, and he still somehow won a game and then lost the game. But I'm still here. It's okay.
Yep. So, anyways, we get the chance to beat the brakes off of them one more time.
Do you think we
so
do?
I'm excited about that. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a ball game. Obviously, I think the Italy game was a little concerning. You give up a couple of ding-dongs, and now you have to – 8-1 against Italy. That's I know that 21 of their guys are from the U.S., but, if they weren't good enough to make Team USA, you should be able to beat them. So, that's like the B team beating the A team there. So, I don't love that, but at least they got us into the next round. I think it'll be a close game. I think Canada's got some dudes, but we should win. Hell, we got Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. We really should not be losing any game in this tournament.
Dumper.
Cal Raleigh, big dumper.
Did you want to talk about? I know you want to talk about it yesterday with the Rosarena. Did you want to talk about it right now?
Yeah, I guess we can get into it. So what? We got 12 minutes now until we hit question of the day.
Yeah,
so
I know this is your thing. So talk about Rosarena and Cal Raleigh. I know we wanted to talk about it yesterday, but then we talked about a half hour arguing about Scoobel.
Yeah, right. That's true. Listen, competitiveness looks differently for everybody. And for Cal Raleigh, when you're in that environment, Mexico and the U.S. is not handshaking time. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy. Bad sportsmanship. No. The things that you say about our players, the beer cans that you throw at our players whenever we play a sport in your country,
lighting
especially
fireworks
soccer,
off outside the hotel.
Lighting fireworks off outside of the hotel. How verbally belligerent. All those other things. They hate us. So we hate them. And Ryan, here's the part. And again, on sports, I'm not talking about as people or human beings. I'm not saying I hate anybody. I'm just saying on the field.
No, you definitely said that.
No, okay. Don't get me canceled here. Come on, man. But more than that, Ryan, you and I. All right. So let's talk about Auburn and Alabama. We know that this is a big rivalry game.
Go
right?
Auburn.
You and I know.
Always liked Auburn.
You and I know, war damn eagle. We know.
I just like the colors.
Because we see it. We know the history. We know the tradition. We know blah, 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 blah. You have not been in the middle of that rivalry. You have, I'm going to guess you've never been to the game. You weren't born into it.
I can't say I have.
You didn't live in Alabama. You've never been on either of the two campuses. So you and I know that this is a heated rivalry. No pun intended. But we weren't a part of it. There is a stark difference between that, an objective observer, and someone who was not born into it, and someone who was born into the rivalry. Someone who was born here in the United States and lived and grew up in the United States, or someone who was born in Mexico, grew up in Mexico, and maybe immigrated to the U.S. or wants to immigrate to the U.S. There is a long-standing rivalry between these two countries that, given the political sphere, given the tensions between the two, historically speaking, anytime we meet, whether it's on the soccer pitch, whether it's on the baseball diamond, whether it's anywhere else. It ain't handshaking time. It's not time to be, hey, how you doing? How's life? No, we're here to beat your ass. And then you can go choke in the World Cup a few months from now. That's fine. That doesn't bother any of us.
First game of the round is
Doesn't bother any of us. Go ahead, choke it away. I'm going to enjoy watching it. It ain't handshaking time. Randy Arozarena was not born in Mexico. He was not born into what this rivalry is. Maybe he doesn't understand. Or maybe he just simply thought he was going to get a fist bump back. I have no idea. But I'm not gonna turn around and bury Cal Raleigh for his competitiveness, for being like, no, dude, right now, we're not buddies. I'm not going to allow you to butter me up before this game starts. I'm focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is beating you. That's it. I have my country on my chest. You don't have your country on your chest, but, you're representing Team Mexico, so congratulations. Leave me the hell alone. And it's funny because people have brought up other examples of, whoa, look at these two players. Well, they met, players from Venezuela and the Dominican Republic before the game. There's a bond there. And there's a bond there because they play with each other in the United States. And I've seen this in clubhouses. Sometimes you walk in and it's the Latin guys who are hanging out, and sometimes it's the American guys that are hanging out. Now, obviously, you're going to have crossover. But that's why it means that much more to those guys, because they have to be together through the minor league experience to get to the majors. So yeah, I mean, there's a very tight bond there. But if I'm Cal Raleigh, you really think there was any handshaking or knuckle bumping before the gold medal game in the U.S. and Canada?
No.
Hell no. Brady Tkachuk actually said, we hate those guys. Like, there is legit hate between the two sides. And I would say the same exact thing about Mexico and the U.S. The thing that I'll leave you with here before we get to question of the day. Did you ever watch the Redeem Team documentary, Ryan?
I know exactly where you're going with it, but
yes. Kobe Bryant going straight through the chest of Pau Gasol, his teammate?
Yep.
Yeah. You're competing for your country. I'm on this side. You're on that side. That's how it is. Now, when the Major League season comes up, we're back in Seattle. Yeah, of course we're boys. And he even said that. He even said that to the media. He goes, when we're back in Seattle, all this is water under the bridge. But Randy Arozarena wants to have a pity party and, oh, my teammate, I told him Mexican style to go F yourself. Well, you're not even from Mexico, so I don't know where you're coming up with that shit. But, so, I don't, Kobe Bryant did it, going through the chest of Pau Gasol's teammate, and even everybody else around him on that Redeem team was like, really, you're going to do that? Your teammate? But he did it. Why? Because he's a competitor. Cal Raleigh is a competitor too.
And
Hey, Randy, how about you don't talk all that junk about your 60-plus home run catcher? How about that? How about you try hitting 60-plus? As a catcher, he hits 60-plus. My God. Anyways, moving on. No, I just that's the way that I look at it. I think Randy's being a little bitch about it, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
Anyways.
I'll give you a soccer example. Ronaldo and Rooney, teammates, teammates. And Ronaldo in the World Cup goes to the referee and basically tells him Rooney did it. Rooney gets a red card, sent off. England go home packing. Just saying. It happens all the time. Look,
That's how it works.
It happens all the time. When I was playing travel soccer, played high school soccer, I'd say, like, there'd be like a head nod before the game or something, but on the field, nothing. There wasn't, like, I wouldn't say there was, like, heat or anything. It's high school soccer, but, like, we knew, like, we had to get a job done.
I'm here to beat you. Yeah, I'm not here to play patty cake. No, I mean, I get it. Like, it's a simple gesture. It's a simple thing. Like, it really would not have been hard, but people don't realize, like, buttering you up is a thing. Like, people do that in baseball. Why do you think first basemen talk to base runners all the time? You think they're just friendly? They just want to be like, hey, how's the family?
I just get sometimes. Bored. I thought they were bored.
Then probably bored, but sometimes it's strategic. Yeah, like you want to get them to be distracted. Why do you think catchers try to kiss ass to the umpire all the time? I got to get me calls. Buttering people up is a real thing. Like, there are two ways you can go about it. You can be Kevin Garnett and tell you that you're, you look like a cancer patient, or you can go the other way and be extremely nice, and then you catch people off guard. So there's two different ways you can go about that. So
I'd agree.
And yes, he told Charlie Villanueva that he looked like a Make-A-Wish kid.
Yeah, that's, especially with his disease that he has, that's it's a little messed up. But again, it's like, I wouldn't say it's low hanging fruit, but it's like, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's an
Yep.
edge. It's an edge.
Yep. Let's get the question of the day.
Question of the day here on the National Soccer Network and Inside the Game. Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of that #1 smell-proof cleat bag. That 100% works. Visit saltathletic.com today or scan the QR code if you want a chance to win one for free. Head over to our Instagram, on Instagram, drop us a follow at NatSoccerTV. Comment hashtag NSNSalt giveaway and comment a friend. You'll have a chance to win one. We'll be doing drawing every single Friday. But anyway, question of the day. Nate, I don't know if you've seen this, but this is a college basketball question. What do you think about the LED basketball courts that like the Big 12 is using? I'll start. It is the dumbest idea ever because we are one moment away from someone somehow hacking the LED, basically the LED courts. For people who don't know, you can put like anything on the court, like on the screen, like you know how we have the hardwood. Yeah, it's a court that's safe to like play basketball on and everything, but they can change the colors and put things on the court whenever. But we are one hack away or one mispunch away of, oh my goodness,
Disaster.
we can never have this again. And everyone knows what I mean by that.
Yeah. And I mean, there's going to be someone who's smart enough to do it. Or it may be a disgruntled employee or someone else that's like, screw this, I'm going out with a bang. The other side of it is too, though, like if I'm a coach or a player, like, do I really want that? Do I really want like an aquarium looking thing beneath me? Like, is that not going to be the most distracting thing you've ever had to deal with in your entire life? I know where you're going, and that's disaster. But
10 seconds to go, down by 2, 3, down by 1, a three-pointer wins it. Any basket wins it. All of a sudden, the court turns into a picture that should not be on, and all of a sudden, the game cuts, and we can't go back to it. Like, we are one mistake away. I'm telling you, we are one moment away, one like not paying attention to what's going on the screen away from this is a disaster. I'm just saying, we are one moment away from that.
A cool concept, cool idea, but yeah, I can easily see that going the opposite direction. But that'll wrap us up here on episode 248 of Inside the Game. And 249. We got 250 to come up next week on Monday, so we're gonna do that. Keep it locked on social media.
Real quick about Monday. I've got to tell you this, but this happened this morning. The Sporting Jacks head coach will be on. I guess the email I sent went to spam, and then they're like, dude, we'd love to be on the show. So head coach Liam Fox will be on the show. And it actually be cool because their first year in the USL Championship, they'll have a couple of games under their belts. We can ask them, what's the difference between League One and the Championship? Yeah, not many podcasts can say that.
That's true. But all that's coming up. Again, 2:49 tomorrow, bright and early, 9 a.m. Right here on Inside the Game.
With Tanner White. Tanner White will be on.
Tanner White on Inside the Game.
From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.